Hello, thank you for joining me for part 2 of the Roe Deer tutorial. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Do apologise if there's some noise, there's some work going on downstairs. But yeah, we'll get started. I'm going to start over on this other ear and then we'll work our way down into the face a little bit. So the two base colours, base layer colours that I've got out are Ivory and Warm Grey 1. So, excuse me, I'm just going to grab my eraser and just lightly remove some of the outline. Okay, so yeah, as always, I'm not going to completely take it away. Still need to obviously be able to see it. I think I've said it before as well, but always make sure before you use a rubber, well, at all really, always check it on a piece of scrap paper, because you know, if you've maybe rubbed something dark out before and you end up with the dark mark on your rubber, and there's nothing harder to get out than like a rubber smudge. So yeah, always make sure you check that. So as I said, I've got the Warm Grey 1 and Ivory. So I'm going to put Ivory down here, up to this line. Excuse me. And then I'm going to put Warm Grey 1 down for the rest of it, I think. You see, by not completely rubbing it out, it's sort of not getting in the way, but you can see where your lines were. So excited about finishing this one. I've always wanted to do a deer. I'd like to do a big stag at some point. I just thought this was a really pretty little roe deer. Excuse me. Okay, and then I'm just going to get warm grey too, I think, just to mark out so some of those areas I can't me just saying you can still see them, but some of them I can't see, so I'm just going to kind of make a bit of a mark where they were. Okay, excuse me. Oh, I've got such a dry throat. Okay, just at this side. And then it's darker from this top of the ear, down the side, sort of down the edge. About here. Okay, and then just going to check if you can see this bit here on the other ear. I've just noticed, just looking back at the picture, that there's a bit of like well, I'm going to use brown ochre. There's sort of a bit of tone of that down the bottom here. So I'm just going to add that in. And then there's actually almost a bit of like a nudie pink then coming up from that a little bit. So I think I'm going to get beige red. I think this used to be known as light flesh if you've got the old set. Just along, just a few little bits of, I think I did put some in before, I can see it a little bit, but sometimes when you come back to it, because I do think sometimes colours fade a bit on the page. Yeah, that can definitely happen. Brown ochre again. And let's put it in slightly. Okay, and then I'm also just going to get the Nougat along that bottom bit here. But it's so bright, the sun's coming through that my side window, it's really really bright. The next video might end up looking really dark because of that. Okay, and then actually I'm just going to get the cinnamon. Just come down here a little bit as well. I'm not sure if you can still. Sorry, I was knocked to the camera then. I'm just going to move it. I'm just going to zoom out slightly actually so you can see it. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I've put a bit of brown ochre down here, a bit of nougat here, and then a bit of cinnamon here, and then a bit of beige red. I kind of went up from the brown ochre along here slightly. Okay, so zoom back in. Gosh, it's really hard for me to see the camera screen. Yeah, I think that's okay. So back to this right here for now. So yeah, I'm just going to get my warm grey 2 again. And just mark along this edge. I'm just going to get the Nougat. Just add a bit along here. Okay, and then I think I'm going to get a bit of Bistre as well. Yeah, a bit of Bistre. I'm just going to come in a bit of that as well. It's all about building the layers. That's why it's such a long process. It's so worth it though. A bit darker up here. And then I feel like I need a darker. I think I'm going to go in with the Dyck Brown. And then I'll go over the top again with dark sepia. So I don't actually sharpen my pencils that often. Yeah, it depends on what texture you're doing, what area you're doing, but you don't always need them sort of super sharp. And then I'm going to get the dark sepia. Oh no, wrong one. Is it gone? Sorry about that, we've got it. Okay. So it's gonna now I am going to, after what I've just said, I am going to have this one a bit sharper because I do want to put that detail in here. And then just along here, but I'm going to keep that quite a thin line, and then I think I'm going to get burnt sienna. Just pop it that in the top of these hairs. And back to the dark sepia. And the fur hair's kind of changing direction around here. Going to lightly whisper up this edge with the dark sepia. And I just keep constantly, sorry I keep knocking the camera, just constantly looking back at the reference photo. Again, don't send yourself crazy with it though. I'm going to grab Cold Grey 2 as well. And I'm just going to put a whisper of it coming out of here. Just feel like in the sort of end of the hairs here. Only this bit. Just feel like there's a whisper of it. I keep saying that. It's my new word. A whisper of it through there. It's Cold Grey 2. Dropping my paper that I'm resting my hand on as well. Okay. I think I'm just going to move the camera slightly. Okay, so I think the burnt ochre, no, what's it called? Brown ochre, sorry, that I just used on that other ear just now. I'm just gonna take a bit of that through this bit here as well. I love these colours that are coming through here, so nice. And then I get my dark sepia. And then I'm just going to with a light pressure just to add a couple of hairs in here. Okay, and then along this bottom, sort of along the base of the ear here, I'm going to use the brown ochre. Excuse me, I just need a drink. Okay. So yeah, still got the brown ochre and oh my gosh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to soften away from this brown with it as well. I've got here because it kind of goes quite soft. So yeah, just very, very lightly, just coming down. And then sort of a light bit here. Oh, I'm really sorry, I feel like I might sneeze again in a minute. Sorry, I keep looking back at the other ear, just slightly adding bits in, but no. Okay, so I think, should I decide how far to go up with this? So I've just been using like a light to medium pressure, just doing that, just to sort of very gradually build up the colour. I don't want to go in too heavy. And then I'm going to get the Walnut Brown. Actually no, I'm not. I'm going to get the burnt Sienna again, I think. And again, just a light to medium pressure, just kind of adding the odd hair in along this base of the ear. And then a couple of slightly longer ones here. Just kind of going backwards and forwards with it, just gently. And then I'm going to get the Walnut Brown. And going to, actually I think I'm going to add a bit in here, you know. I'm just going to, so it gets a bit darker towards this next section. It's almost a bit of a triangle here. So again, kind of back to basics, just sort of breaking it all down to shapes really. I'm just going to get the burnt Sienna again and just come over into this a bit more with it. Sort of a medium pressure this time. to Walnut Brown. And then I'm actually going to get the dark sepia again. It's going to move over. I'll try not to, of course, not to the camera. So, I'm just going to move the camera down a bit because it keeps, I don't know if it keeps moving on, I don't know if the tripod keeps moving. Bear with me. Yeah, and then along the bottom of this sort of a triangle shape I just said about, I'm just going to add in sort of a bit of a dark edge to it. Okay, and then in this area here I'm going to grab the brown ochre again. I just feel like there needs to be a bit more, I need to go in a bit heavier almost with it, which again is good that, you know, it's easier to add than it is to remove, so okay, and then we're going to go, so sort of up here where I added that darker bit, that is sort of a warm grey too. There's sort of a darker on here. Get the dark sepia. Sorry, I keep sniffing. I've still got the end of this cold. It just won't disappear. So sorry, I've got the warm grey 2 back here. I'm just going to sort of blend up from the bottom of that little shape I added in, and then a bit down as well. And then I'm going to get the burnt umber, if I can find it. I just need to sharpen it a little bit. So this is the burnt umber. I'm just going to bring this shape out from this bit, from the base of the ear slightly. Grey 3. I'm just going to sharpen that up a bit as well, just slightly. Don't want it super sharp, but that's it. It has got a bit rounded. And then just at this left side of the shape, just going to add it a bit darker. So sorry, I keep catching the tripod. I really need to get the arm sorted so I can put you back above me, so hopefully I don't keep knocking it. So I'm going to get the Dyck Brown, and I'm going to come up this side. About there. And then the dark sepia. And just lightly, just to add a bit of shadow, just up here. And then I'm going to get warm grey 2 and 3 sort of at the ready. I'm going to slightly sharpen 2. So sorry, this is 2, this is warm grey 2. And I'm just going to grab the dark sepia just to lightly add in a shape that I don't want to lose. So just here there's sort of a bit of a funny little, it's not a triangle, but it's not, it's kind of a rounded triangle, I suppose. I just don't want to lose where that is. So yeah, that was with the dark sepia. And I'm going to get the warm grey 3 now. And just remember to always go, like I said before, with the direction of the fur. You know, especially like in ears like this, they're just constantly changing direction. So that's why it's easier sometimes to break it down into the shapes. You know, for the different directions. And then, sorry, that was the Nougat. I keep forgetting to tell you what I've picked up. And then back to the warm grey 2 and blend down from the Nougat. Warm grey 3. Back to the dark sepia, just for that little shape that I added in. It's going to go in a bit heavier with that. Just do a sort of a medium-ish pressure. And just turning the pencil a little bit to keep the sharper edge. And we get the warm grey 3, and just along this edge here, again it is a bit of a change of direction for where the hair's going. So I'm just going to kind of keep the sharper edge and just kind of put in the hair strokes, just working my way up to about here, sort of about just above where this side line comes down. Go back up again. I'm going to get warm grey for I'm just going to sort of kind of on the, not on the flat edge but not on the sharp edge, sort of on the side of the sharp edge. Just going to kind of gently go up the edge here. And then sort of pretty much all the way up this side here, I'm going to go in with Warm Grey 3. I'm going to keep it fairly sharp, and to keep it sort of natural looking, I'm going to sort of crisscross some of the hairs a little bit. So sort of, so they're not just straight coming out, I'm going to kind of crisscross some of them. Just keeps it looking a bit more, a bit more natural. Then I'm just going to grab the Warm Grey 4 back again, just with the sharper edge on this right side. I'm just going to put some hairs in on here. And then I'm going to get the dark sepia. I'm going to sharpen it just slightly because I do need it fairly sharp for this bit. And then I'm just going to slowly add in the darker bits that are coming through from underneath. See, I don't always add in like the darker bit from underneath last. It all just depends on the texture, how it's showing through, you know, the hairs that are on top. I love this colour. I think it's one of my favourites because it's sort of a in between a brown and a black. Yeah, just so useful. I definitely recommend it. You know, if for whatever reason you can't buy the full set, like the big set, I think it's 120. If I had to recommend colours, this would definitely be one of them. I'm just going to lightly use the sharp edge still just to add some sort of random, again not too straight, just kind of, yeah, really random. I hope that's looking okay so far. And then I'm going to grab the warm grey 2. I'm just going to, excuse me, sharpen it a little bit. I'm going to go up this side now and sort of work my way in from each side, I think. So yeah, warm grey 2. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap up here. And hair is sort of going in towards the middle. I'm just going to grab a drink, bear with me. Oh, that's better. Right, sorry about that. So yep, still got warm grey 2 here, just marking in these bits from the side. And then I'm going to get warm grey 3. Just going to sharpen that again a bit. Sort of a, again still with the warm grey 3, there's sort of a darker bit along this base. Again, I sort of keep turning the pencil a little bit. think back to what I was saying just a minute ago about pencils that I'd recommend if you couldn't get the full set. I think the warm greys, the cold greys, and like your dark sepia and things are just a great base to your kit, because they're so great for building up, you know, the shadows and the layers and things. They are really, really, really useful. Then just gonna, sort of the inner section's quite dark, but I'm just gonna kind of create the outline of it still with the warm grey 3. And sort of a funny bit down here. And this bit in the middle and this bit is dark, but we'll sort that in a sec. Okay, so I'm going to grab the Walnut Brown and I'm going to add a bit in, so I want it fairly sharp, to add a bit in here. Again, sort of light to medium pressure to begin with. Sorry, my stomach's rumbling. Excuse me. Then I'm just going to grab the dark sepia just to add these darker bits in that I was talking about. So sort of along here. along this bit as well. Try not to use my hand. Sometimes forget to sort of wipe bits off. Use my soft brush and then carry on with this funny little shape. Oh. And just want to make sure I get this sort of pretty accurate. Okay, and then I'm actually going to just add a bit in down here as well, this sort of a darker bit. Just here. Just a few. Sort of funny little bits. And then I'm going to grab the burnt umber again, I think. I can't end up with like loads of pencils everywhere. What have I done with it? Burnt umber, here we go. Okay, and then I'm going to sort of softly come with the flat area, softly come away from this shape, down. It's actually quite dark into this bit. It's unbelievable the amount of changes of direction in the fur in this ear. I'm going to soften up on pressure coming up to here. Leave that area there just lighter. And then I'm also going to keep on with this colour. It's coming out a bit from here. then I'm going to grab the Walnut Brown as well, and then I'll go in with the dark Sepia. Sorry, the sun's coming round, so the light might keep changing slightly. In fact, I think I'm just going to put something up at the window, just bear with me. Okay, so that should hopefully be a bit better. So I'm just going to get, in fact, while I've noticed this, I'm just going to grab the brown ochre again. Excuse me. And there's just sort of with the flat edge, I'm just going to add a bit of a whisper of that through here. And also down here. Back down here as well, and just going a bit heavier. Like I keep saying, when you come away from an area, you almost need to do that to see what you've missed or what you haven't got quite right. Okay, so I'm going to grab warm grey ball. I'm just going to go in with some heavier strokes in this area. So there's definitely a darker bit along the base, and then I'm just going to randomly do, like, try and not be neat with it, just to make it look natural with the sharper edge. Just to add some hairs in. And then come up from here. And then just keep looking back at the reference photo. Just a bit darker here for sort of the shadow. I'm going to grab the, in fact I'm going to do it still with the warm grey 4 first, and then I'm going to get the dark sepia again. I'm going to get the Walnut Brown again, I think, in a sec. Okay, Walnut Brown. And then I'm going to bring a bit of that. In fact, no, I'm not going to get the burnt umber, and just bring that out here a little bit. Dark sepia again, just to sharpen up some of these bits along here. I keep turning it for the sharp. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. My battery ran out and I didn't realise it had gone, so it's cut a bit of that off, I think. I was just carrying on with the dark sepia, sort of around these darker areas, and then I was just about to get the Museum Aquarelle Caran white. Just going to sharpen it up a bit, just to add in a couple of sort of where the light's just catching. So it's fairly softish pencil really, so it's quite hard sometimes to get it super sharp. But yeah, just to add some specks in along here. The warm grey 3, if I can find it. In fact, I'm going to get the warm grey 4 again. Sorry, I keep changing my mind. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of have a good look at the. Actually, I'm going to get the burnt ochre. Oh gosh, what's it called? Brown ochre. Sorry. Oh gosh, what have I done with it? Here we go. So brown ochre and. Okay, so I've just, yeah, I've got the brown ochre and the raw umber. I'm just going to get the raw umber. Just add a bit more of the marking in here. Just to go in contrast with the brown ochre. Sort of blend out a bit from it. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that there for part 2. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you for part 3.